Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to Business Today. I'm Jeropol Sunko with Winnie Buyinza Nagochi in Sign Language. We're coming to you live from Plot 42, Nile Avenue. But first, a look at our top stories.
In Business Today, President Museveni has officially launched the oil drilling activities at Kingfisher Development Area and advises locals to invest in agriculture. Deputy Speaker of Parliament orders the Ministry of Works and Internal Affairs to present a report on the alleged extortion at Entebbe International Airport. Oxfam urges the government to strengthen measures on high-net individuals to end inequality and manage the regressive taxation in the country.
All right, now we started off with bridging the inequality gap. Ugandan government has been called upon to strengthen measures on high net worth individuals to end inequality in the country. According to Oxfam, taxing the rich benefits the most vulnerable twice, once more reduce pressure from the regressive taxation, which hits them hardest, and also from the improved public spending. Naima Mutumba with more.
Uganda had encountered multiple exceptional crises in the previous year, including floods, drought and increased inflation due to food and energy price shocks, all while implementing less expansionary fiscal policies. The National Tax Symposium, which aims to tax Uganda's wealthy and high net worth individuals, has been held as a result of the widening inequality gap, which requires immediate action. During the presentation of a report titled Broadening the Tax Base of Low-Income Countries, Oxfam Uganda Country Director Francis Shanti Odokorach stated that this will benefit the country twice, hence lowering income disparity.
I think we will continue to call upon the government to continue taxing of the super rich, the big corporations, as the door out of today's overlapping crisis is just simply that. So in 2022, Oxfam and our partners, we presented a fair tax monitor study showing how Uganda's reliance on indirect taxes makes the tax system regressive, with the indirect taxes disproportionately affecting the low-income earners, especially women.
The study demonstrates that raising taxes on society's wealthy individuals is a reasonable way to boost government revenue. With this in place, Uganda Revenue Authority saw an increase in revenue collection for rental tax, PIT and VAT from 19.7 billion in 2016 to 160.9 billion in 2021-2022. Other taxes, such as inheritance tax, property tax and the creation of a national asset register must be taken into account.
In 2015 to date, we can see an increase in revenue from the individuals who were initially not paying and filing. They have come to comply to tax, and so far right now we've collected 109 billion in only 1 year, and therefore this unit is doing a great job in terms of compliance.
The fortunes of the rich through property tax, calculated on the basis of the value of property, land and buildings.
As a result, Oxfam and its partners have urged the government to increase taxes on the wealthy in a systematic and comprehensive manner, improve data collection and analysis, give tax officials more technical training, close tax loopholes, and work with civil society organizations to spread the word about paying one's fair share of taxes.
We are calling on the governments, including the government of Uganda, to strengthen their effort to widen the tax base, and also to tax most of these rich people, to bring them within the tax net, because we need them to pay their fair share of taxes. If you look at Uganda's total tax revenue, most of the revenue is actually collected from indirect taxes. Some of these taxes come from excise duty, from VAT, and others, which are actually also paid by the common citizens, the vulnerable citizens.
Quality is increasing. The poor becoming poorer. The rich, the few rich are becoming richer. And for us, as the partners at Tax Justice Alliance, we are saying this can't go on. Something has to be to be done.
According to the analysis, the richest 1% captured about 2/3 of all new wealth created since 2020, totaling $42 trillion, roughly twice as much as the bottom 99% of the world's population. In 2020, for the first time in 25 years, the Global Bank reported an increase in extreme poverty. At the same time, excessive wealth has sharply increased since the pandemic. Even though billionaire wealth somewhat declined in 2022 after reaching a record-breaking peak in 2021, the billionaire class is still at $2.6 trillion richer than it was before the pandemic. Naomi Mtumba, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And now let's look at a new dawn for Uganda's oil and gas. A new era has begun for Uganda's oil and gas industry with the inauguration of the Kingfisher rig today. By 2025, the Kingfisher will create a central processing plant with a maximum daily capacity of 40,000 barrels of oil. His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni officiated the launch and told the people of Kikube district that agriculture is the most important way they may gain from this initiative. Ronan Nahawe reports.
Your Excellency, just one more request.
The 60.5-meter tall Kingfisher oil rig, which was built in Buhuka village close to Lake Albert, will allow the nation to drill its first oil well before the start of the commercial production in 2025. For the sake of clarity, the Executive Director of the Petroleum Authority of Uganda provided a graphic depiction of how the oil is underground.
Which is turned upside down. So the oil is inside the basin but covered. So what happens is that when the basin is full, the oil starts escaping from the edge of the basin. The edge of the basin.
So it may not surface near?
It may not surface near, but it may also not surface on top of the basin.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Excellency.
His Excellency expressed his gratitude for the group of individuals he sent abroad to learn about petroleum as they benchmarked on the discovery of Uganda's oil resources, as he reflected on his trip from 1990s to 2006 when it was explored.
No petroleum there. It was a mistake. Really? But you are the ones who told me. For them, the Soviet Union had opened up. There was a lot of oil in the Soviet Union, so Shell BP was no longer interested in this petroleum here. But then I told these people here, I said, no, but you studied, you now look for the oil. You, these are the ones who looked for this oil, these people here.
The president also adds that because there will always be a need for food, especially for those who work in the fields, the only way local content can be adopted is for people in Bunyoro region to gain from agriculture.
For the people of the area, okuleja nmwichuka nkabagamba okuleja enjura kwegwa oleja amaizi abaganda bakyeta okurembeka okutangiriza. Now, okay, I have heard of these, what they call local content and all that. But for me, the biggest local content, which all of you can participate in, is agriculture. Producing food. Because all these people who work in the oil fields need food. Nobody has computers, bano. No, araruzino muntu nali ya computer. Nobody achi? Yes. Grow food so that these people buy food from you people.
That facilitates what we are witnessing today. The upstream and midstream segments of the oil and gas sector are integrated. And in this regard, significant progress has been made in achieving the aspirations of the commercialization strategy for the crude oil. The legal and commercial framework for the East African crude oil pipeline was concluded with the enactment of the East African crude oil pipeline, enabling legislations in both Uganda and in the United Republic of Tanzania.
The investment in the Kingfisher oil field development is expected to increase by over $2 billion over the following 3 years after production begins, and by over $1.63 billion over the remaining 20 years of the oil field's life. Ronana Habwe, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Now, meanwhile, Thomas Taiyewa, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, has ordered the Ministry of Works and Internal Affairs to present a report on the massive extortion at the Entebbe International Airport on Tuesday of next week. This comes after popular social media posts in which many claim that some immigration officers seek bribes from citizen travelers in order to grant them clearance to board their flights. We have more in this report.
Concerns were raised by a number of Ugandans regarding what they described as massive bribery and arrogance involving immigration employees at International Airport Entebbe. Thomas Taiyewa, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, points out that people responsible for such actions ought to be fired as well as put in jail, and ordered the Minister of Works and Internal Affairs to present a report on that extortion.
In the reports which we've seen in the media, they are saying dismissed, but these are criminals. These are criminals. You dismiss today, they go and get a job in another place, and they continue with that kind of habit. So I'll need a joint statement from the Minister of Works, who supervises the Civil Aviation Authority, and the Minister for Internal Affairs, because most of the cases were to do with immigration officers. And the Minister for Works is the one who will take the lead in presenting the statement as the overall.
In a statement released on Thursday, Uganda Civil Aviation Authority said they had noted the trending videos and said that such incidents are regrettable. Simon Peter Mundei, the spokesperson for the Internal Affairs Ministry, urged the public to report any instances of being approached for bribery.
Fraudulent activities. It is the public. If somebody asks you for money to induce for a bribe or in a professional way, you alarm wherever you are to attract the attention of the public, whether at the airport, whether at the border. Pay only legal fees. And for immigration, we do not charge any money at the airport or at the borders.
The same extortions at the airport are also occurring at the passport offices. That's according to Solomon Selwanyi, MP for Bukoli County Central, for which he requested for forensic audit as a remedy.
Right now, Speaker, what is happening is that not only at the airport, what is happening even local at our immigration is that when people apply for passports, they request you, there is what they tell you that if you want chap very fast, you pay an additional amount of money. And the Ugandans are being extorted. There is a lot of extortion, there is a lot of impunity happening in that department, right, Honourable Speaker. The procedure matter I'm raising, right, Honourable Speaker. Wouldn't it be procedurally right for you, right, Honourable Speaker, to order for forensic audit in this department so that we know what is exactly happening, the impunities are being done by who?
We are not, of course, responsible for any money paid to a broker purporting to offer our services. We are not responsible. That's why we continue giving this information to you so that you are aware. And I want to thank members of the media. They have tried to put this information in newspapers, on TV, on radio.
The bribes asked by the officers in question are said to range between 380,000 and 3.8 million. The victims claim that despite presenting all necessary documents required for travel outside Uganda, some officers come up with baseless excuses to block their flights. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now, Uganda is a country with a growing economy and a wealth of natural resources. However, in order for the country to truly thrive with the ongoing situation in regards to the important investment policies in place, Uganda has the potential to become a major player in the global economy. And in this report, Bronia Katosime does bring you a free land report regarding the fact that the land and foreign investors get it that the locals never. Let's have more in this report.
Currently, agriculture accounts for more than 80% of Uganda's economy, accounting for more than 80% of employment. Uganda may gain in a variety of ways from attracting foreign investment. Additionally, foreign investors frequently offer the most up-to-date management techniques and technology, which can help Ugandan businesses become more efficient and competitive. The State Minister of Finance for Investment and Privatization, Annette Evelyn, has insisted that Uganda's business climate is very hospitable to foreign investment.
The African Development Bank did a research, and out of their research of all the African countries, we're talking about over 54 African countries, and Uganda came in the top 10 list of the best investment destination in Africa. And the World Bank rating all the other world companies, or rather countries, we were ranked number 125. That was like 2 years back, and we're waiting for them to do another review. But I believe with all the incentives that we've put in place, and Uganda being the most peaceful country in the region, better still one of the best peaceful countries in East Africa, that's the first investment incentive to any investor, because you don't want to invest your money in an environment which is not peaceful. So Uganda is very peaceful, first and foremost, and therefore it is very attractive to any investor. 2, we have non-tax incentives that we put. There is no country in the world that gives land free of charge as an incentive to anyone other than Uganda.
The nation does, however, have a thriving mining sector and tremendous growth potential in industries like tourism and manufacturing. Despite this possibility, it appears that foreign investors are treated more favorably than domestic ones in terms of investment policies.
The investment incentives that we have today are mainly geared towards driving foreign direct investments. I think as a country we are very much interested in mobilizing foreign capital to come in and support and invest in our economy, create jobs, generate taxes, provide goods and services and things like that. Now, because of that, you'll find that the investment incentives that are available today, many of them are perceived to be favoring foreign investors more than the local investors.
Despite the fact that many Ugandans think that foreign investors are the only ones who are favored by investment policies, the State Minister is adamant that domestic investors are also favored. She goes on to say that Uganda has more domestic investors than foreign investors, who are still scarce.
And many people think that we're not favoring the local investors. I can tell you, 90% of our land in the industrial parks are actually owned by Ugandans, Ugandan investors. The only thing is that if you put together 10 black people and you have one white, the white, because of the skin color, will look many, okay, will outshadow the rest. But
the recently concluded World Economic Forum placed a strong emphasis on the need for developing countries to enhance their investment policies in order to attract more investment. Uganda is still a virgin territory for investors, but much work needs to be done to draw the relevant investors to the nation by effectively executing policies to attract both domestic and foreign investment, that the government may create jobs, drive economic growth, and improve the overall business environment. Bronia Katsime, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Away from that, members of parliament and the budget committee have charged members of the Red Cross Society with making blood available for free in all public hospitals in order to save the lives of many Ugandans who are in need of it. This occurred as the Uganda Red Cross Society budget framework paper was being discussed. We have more in this report.
The Uganda Red Cross has a budget of over 12.65 billion shillings, with the government contributing 10 billion and non-government organizations contributing the rest. The company only has 51 branches throughout the entire nation. To increase these centers, they need an addition of 1 billion shillings or 11 billion shillings to be able to meet their goal.
How do we strengthen the first responder mechanism? How do we work with local governments, districts, to make sure that they are also having disaster profiles of the districts and with the disaster plans of their respective districts? How do we make sure that we have the means to respond very fast?
Legislators on this committee claim that although most blood in Uganda is donated, they are frequently asked to pay large amounts of money for it. They want the Red Cross authorities to make sure that this practice ends.
Get interested into the issue of sale of blood. You know, it is a voluntary donation. And if people don't get value for why they give blood, at the end of the day it will lose meaning. Some of us got involved into the mobilization of our communities. That was Maogola. We've just donated blood. We took our time to mobilize the communities to come and, give blood. But the questions were, as we give blood, shall we get it for free? So I think as we give you money, more sensitization on how we avoid the leakage of sale of blood. Otherwise, it's a very big challenge, and in future, people may, refuse to voluntarily give because it must help them at the end of the day.
The MPs have also emphasized on the issue of involving local governments because most of them do not have referral hospitals, yet they also need emergency services on Red Cross.
Because, decentralization of some of these services is far cheaper. I appreciate you have 51 branches. Yes, agreeable. But how do we make these local governments more active, for example, in preparation of these disaster preparedness plans? These are put on paper. We have them on paper. But practically, do we see results? Is there impact on whatever they put on paper?
The committee has agreed to assist the Red Cross in meeting its goals of constructing emergency centers in all of the country's regions. Sam Lanifa, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And now let's talk matters embracing savings digitalization. Through its Microfinance Support Center, the government of Uganda has pledged to assist SACCOs that have developed in various sections of the nation to raise household income across the board by encouraging saving. In light of the upcoming digitalization of SACCOs, their members were asked to quit misusing their savings. More in this report.
At the inauguration of the 5-year strategic plan for business mobilizers, Cooperative Savings and Credit Society Limited in Kampala, the National Coordinator Operation Wealth Creation, Lieutenant Colonel Ronald Luwale, speaking on behalf of the Minister of Microfinance, exhorted all SACCOs to digitize their deposits and prevent mismanaging of SACCO funds. He also highlighted the significance of Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, regulating SACCOs and money lenders in order to avoid defaulters.
And increase the household income. And I would like to inform the country that this is the way to go. And I'm pleased to have found all the regional players from all over the country, from Teso, Lango, Gulu, all over the country, as leaders who have witnessed this occasion. And on behalf of the microfinance fraternity, we do welcome officially the Team Thara SACCO.
John Mugisha, the chairman of Business Mobilizers Cooperative Savings and Credit Society in Kampala, provided an update on the SACCO's progress, noting that its members have saved up to 160 million shillings and borrowed 450 million shillings. He also commended the government for lending them a helping hand so that the people can be happy while the economy is transformed.
Yeah, strategic plan and the circuit itself. So we are going to move forward, to move down to the different regions, telling members the use and the purpose for them and the need to be members of their own SACCO. Well, this is their own SACCO. Now what we expect is that members will get affordable, accessible credit facility.
We have been waiting because of little funds to see how we can get support, and
reach to our people on the ground. Right now, since the SACCO is fully launched, opened, we are very sure that the government is going to put in money, and we are going to link up with our fellow sub-regional and district parish SACCOs to see that we can turn this to be a union.
SACCOs are created to promote saving culture among people. Their main objectives are to create wealth and jobs, delivering education and health, ensuring justice and equity, protecting life and prosperity, as well as achieving economic political integration. The government, through microfinance, has been highlighting the significance of registering SACCOs not only for the safety of the funds, but also maturity of the funds. Samuel Chirimunda, Runana Habwe, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Business Today does take a break. We'll be back with more shortly.